This is the Drummers Only podcast, brought to you by the UK's leading drum store.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Happy New Year. This is there's been a podcast come out, but this is the first one where I thought about whether or not it was going to be out for New Year. So
Yeah, and it didn't come out for New Year.
well, I mean,
Well, it has, technically.
the last one came out after the New Year, but I didn't realise it was going to come out in New Year, so I didn't say Happy New Year to everybody. Is what I'm trying to say.
I feel like that was a long journey to get to just say hello.
Far too long.
Yep.
Far too long. Yeah. So how are you?
I'm fine. I've not done a podcast in a long time, so I'm
I
a little
know.
bit, nervous a little bit.
Right.
Not nervous, that's maybe the wrong word, but just, this is unfamiliar ground again.
Well, refamiliar. Yeah, I know what you're
Refamiliar,
saying.
I can speak really good England.
Absolutely,
tell.
like me and him does.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Adam had put a post out on the forum to say, what are your drumming goals for 2023?
Correct.
So we thought we would talk about what our drumming goals are. So I don't know what we're going to talk about for the rest of the hour.
Is there going to be a rest of our?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, what are your drumming goals for 2023?
Well, when I put this out, I was kind of just curious about what everyone was doing for 2023, what everyone's, everyone has in the new. What are you doing?
I found a drumstick behind me.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So for anyone listening, they just heard you rustling
Yeah.
at your backside. Anyway,
Sorry, what's down the couch?
what are you doing?
User manuals. Anyway, sorry. There's one
Honestly,
drumstick
can't-
down the
can't-
back of this couch.
Is now the time to do it?
Well,
Is now the time to look through the
mean-
back of the couch?
No, but anyway, sorry.
God's sake. Can I get
Sorry,
this start?
derailed you.
I don't even know where we are.
Talking
Who
about,
are you again?
I don't know. Talking about drum goals in 2023.
Drum growls in 2023.
Drum growls?
Drum growls, yeah.
Maybe that's a goal.
Yeah, drum
Big
growls.
DG.
Anyway, it's not really a goal, but it's more of a situation I've found myself in when I am entering the trepid waters of teaching.
Right. Okay.
Full stop.
How do you feel about it?
I feel a bit strange about it. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I did when I was in college. I very briefly did some teaching, but it was more of a I'm gonna ask my cousin's grandson if I could teach him drums just so I can get a good grade.
Pass the unit.
Yeah, basically. So that was my one and only experience in teaching before, whereas I got approached about this because where I stay, someone was looking to learn some drums, and because I've now lived there for a while, I am apparently the drum guy
In the estate.
Okay. So I guess I saw the message and I'm like, okay, this one's obviously for me. So you need the drum guy to get your drums.
Absolutely. I'm just
so-
thinking.
Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at just now. So it's one person I'm teaching them. I say person. He's like 9.
He's not a person then.
So yeah, a person. Yeah, a 9-year-old person. Very much a person.
Have you taught a lesson yet?
So I've done one lesson with him.
And how did it go?
It went okay.
Okay.
Once we actually assembled, it was an electronic kit, and once we actually had it assembled to where it looked like a drum kit and not just an abomination of.
Understood.
Because to frame it for you, and bless him, if you're not a drummer, it's not exactly the easiest thing sometimes to build a drum kit.
I get that.
So the dad put it together in his shed before Christmas.
Right.
So, and when I arrived, when you sit at a set of drums, you have your hi-hat over your left foot and your bass drum at your right foot, or if you're left-handed, strike that, reverse it.
Yep.
But your feet are pointing out the way,
Yeah.
they're parallel with your knees. So when you sit down, your feet point the way your legs fall.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine your legs falling like that, but your left and right foot go start to face each other.
Awesome.
So it's it's hard to see if you're just listening. It's imagine a pyramid
Hen-toed.
but without the hen-toed. Thank you. It's kind of the pedals were kind of like this as opposed to like this. So So once we figured that out, and then also the dad, again, bless him, he'd hidden the hi-hat symbol. So the boy, when I arrived, was playing like Boots and Cats without the
Right.
you know what I mean? He was just playing boot, cat, boot, cat, boot, cat.
I mean,
not wrong.
not a bad start either.
Not a bad start. Great start, actually.
10 points to Gryffindor.
Yeah. So once we ironed that out, I got him kind of learning about what a hi-hat is. Here's why that's important, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's interesting.
Excellent.
It's weird. Like, we kind of briefly spoke about this when I said to you about me doing a bit of teaching, and I was like you kind of, and I don't think you meant it, but you kind of put a little bit of pressure on me.
Excellent. What did
right?
I do?
Because you said like someone's first drum teacher can be like a lot of like it's a lot like I feel like a lot of our customers in here. Certainly, I remember my first drum teacher. And I remember not having a great relationship, like of just being like feel like I wasn't learning a whole great deal. Like when I was growing up, when my drum lessons consisted of what would you like to learn today, which is good if you know what you want to learn. But I just wanted to play Fall Out Boy songs.
I remember someone talking about that and saying, "Can you imagine you walked into the first day of secondary school in your history class, and the teacher's like, right, what do you want to learn?"
Yeah. Like,
that's bonkers.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was where I got to the point where I was just bringing them like, here's songs I like. Can I learn how to play these? Like,
it's a funny one. I'm sorry that I put that pressure on you, but I still really do believe that the first drum teacher someone has, or the first instrumental teacher anybody learning an instrument has, dictates the relationship they'll have with that instrument forever.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree.
Maybe not forever. That's maybe a bit strong, but I think that they will contribute to whether or not you keep going. They will determine what kind of practice ethic you have.
Yeah. Whether
you have one at all. All those kind of things. If you don't give them proper fundamentals, there's so many things that someone teaching a new student has to get right.
Yeah.
It's quite daunting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But once you find a rhythm with it, and once you kind of understand, right, here's what I think is important, and I think as long as you're doing it earnestly and not, just as long as your heart's in the right place, then I think it'll be fine. You know?
Totally, and I think taking into account the age as well, like as a 9-year-old kid, so trying to make sure it's not too long of a lesson where it's overwhelming, but also still fun, you know, which I think at that age certainly it has a massive impact on how long they'll stick at it, if they stick at it at all.
I think
enjoyment.
A lot of the time, the way I see that stuff is kind of how I see anyone's relationship to, like, if they, especially in here, if they buy, and I'm going to use the electronic drums as an example, the experience of the instrument or the experience of the lesson will determine whether or not they keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know? I agree.
And I've had conversations with customers where they've asked you for your advice, and you've pointed them in a different direction, but their child has sat at a completely different instrument and they just come to life. And you go, just buy that one.
Yeah.
You're like, why? Like, because look at their face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't
100%.
matter what I tell you, look at their face.
Yeah.
I can't fight that. I can't fight with that.
They've naturally gravitated towards that.
Yeah, and it might not be what they need. It might be more than they need. But as long as the enjoyment is there, I think, and especially with teaching, that they're being taught correctly.
Yeah.
It's all good, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've done one lesson.
Right.
So I have a second one at the time of this recording. We're recording this on a Tuesday. I now teach on a Wednesday. So I have my second one tomorrow evening.
Great.
So I am hoping that firstly, his feet are facing the right way.
Right.
And secondly, that he's been practicing. I just taught him, like, what's the words I want to use here? What is going to get him playing along to literally any song that he's heard ever?
Yeah.
The basic rock beat.
Yeah.
So trying to get him to learn that, you know, which is funny because, like I say, the only foray I've had in teaching is college years. So when you're actually a bit older and have played a few gigs and stuff and actually get, okay, this is actually what's important. None of the bullshit, like playing weird time signatures, 13/8 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, getting a basic rock groove tight is, will 9 times out of 10 get you a gig over the other guy. You know what I mean? So, to me, and obviously he's 9, he's not going to be thinking about, right, I'm playing down House for an Art Lover. Or,
No,
or, you know what I mean?
nor should they be.
No, it's all about fun, you know, and so teaching them that, I'm thinking, well, at least that's like a start. That's a fundamental of like, this will literally get you by most situations, you know, if not all.
Yeah.
You know, to an extent.
Yeah. I always remember having to try and encourage kids of that age to listen to music.
Well, you used to teach, didn't you?
I did. I taught for years, and that was my biggest challenge. It's really easy to get them to play the drums.
Yeah.
Actually, that's really simple. It's all the other stuff that comes with it I found challenging. Trying to even get them to put music on.
Yeah.
You know, that's could be something that's dealt with more at home, I guess. You know, like there's always music on in my house.
Yeah.
Always. You know,
me too,
and things like the newer Disney films that are floating around, a lot of that music's absolutely magic.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So that should be a gateway in for me to try and get kids into music. It doesn't matter what they listen to as long as they listen to something, you know.
It's funny you say that because when I taught him the basic rock beat, the boots and cats and boots, like I said, just without you realising it, you've played Billie Jean. And he's like, what's that? And I'm like, I put it on my phone and he's like, oh, wow. And it's like, oh, like he's not had that correlation of that's what this is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting. It's encouraging. It's a new challenge for sure. Something I've never done. It's made me realise that I really need to know what I'm talking about.
Well, it's funny just because I was literally about to ask, has it made you even start to think about examining your own playing?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You know, like
I was doing some videos in the demo room last week and I was examining, like I could literally hear where my right foot was rushing, like for the bass drum, and like where I was just doing unnecessary stuff with my left hand, even like just it's like you can hear. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah.
I mean, it's really easy to coast along and not put your playing under a microscope, and if you play regularly, it's even easier to do it because you're not actually thinking about practicing so much, you know. But I think if you're going to teach, there needs to be certain things that are just like, okay, I really should have this actually nailed.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to teach someone it and sort of preach it, practice it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
I mean, like, I'm sure we've all probably had the teacher who's learned what they're going to teach in their next lesson and the hour before.
I've been the teacher that's learned what he's going to teach in his next lesson the lesson before.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started.
Yeah.
For me, when I first started, I had... much like you, I had one student. My drums were in my sister's garage, and a neighbour heard me playing and came and chapped the door, and I thought he was going to ask me to stop. He was like, "My boy's got drums. Can you teach my boy?" I was like, "Right, sure. Never done this before, but okay, let's give it a go." And I was like, "I have no idea what to teach. None, nothing, nada." So it was literally like, "Okay, right. As long as I am like a lesson or two ahead, then I'm okay."
Yeah.
And like I have it under my belt, and before you know it, you're 10 lessons ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And if you have, you know, because it's all relative to how quickly someone learns and how they learn and all that other stuff that you don't need to really worry about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've certainly been that person.
I think it helps as well. Like I was very upfront with the parents of like I'm not like a full-time drum teacher.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and I think that kind of made them like I don't know, like it kind of. There's an expectation, but there's not like okay, he's been playing drums for 5 weeks now and he's not like Vinnie Colaiuta. Why?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm getting at?
Absolutely, because I've had those conversations too where parents are like, why aren't they any better? Like, oh, how much practice are they doing? You know, oh, they've got like 400 extracurricular activities. Well, that's why they're not doing any better.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like somebody wants it, the expectation level on what's achievable in a time scale is...
It's bonkers, yeah.
Yeah, it can be for sure.
And I think a lot of that's to just do with, again, society we're in just now.
Yeah, like, modern society's mental.
Lose £50 in 10 minutes.
Yeah, you know
totally.
What I mean? Yeah.
So, but it's fun though, it's a new challenge. So that's my, not necessarily a goal, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it
Great.
goes. What's yours?
Well,
what is your drumming goal?
My drumming goal is not a drumming goal. It's a percussion goal.
Right.
I've booked to do a show this year. I've been doing a lot more theatre shows, Amdram, school productions, that kind of thing. And I've booked to do Beauty and the Beast,
Oh, okay.
which I think has more tuned percussion in it.
It does, yeah.
So my goal is to learn those parts.
Oh, instead of
Like,
putting them on
like actually learn to play the instruments.
Wow.
So yeah, I've got a loan of a xylophone at the moment,
Right.
and it's enormous. It's like a proper orchestral xylophone on a frame and all that. So
You're literally the definition of like, I know a guy who has that. Like, that I can just be like, all right, Jimmy, can I borrow your xylophone?
Well, do you know, it was weird because I was looking at buying one and I sent a friend of mine a link to a particular instrument. Like, is this any good? And he's like, the one in my car that I'm doing absolutely nothing with, you can have.
Wow.
Just now. I'm like, it's a better instrument. So,
Yeah.
cool.
What a guy.
Amazing. Absolutely.
Legend.
Hero. Thank you, Thomas. So I'm trying to practice parts. It's really exciting, actually. It's the most excited I've been about learning an instrument in a while.
So have you actually got it now? Are you actually playing it?
It's at home, like practicing my scales and practicing like thirds and trying melodies, like trying Hedwig's theme and all that, and it's great.
Have you got the mallet, two mallets between your fingers thing
Christ,
yet?
No, I've barely got one mallet in my hand, let alone two mallets in my hand. So the challenge right now is like, look at the music, look at the notes, look at the music, do you know what I mean? Trying to stop having to look at the instrument. That'll be the challenge for about a year, I think.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm going to have to do is get the parts down as rote. So I don't actually have to read them when I'm playing them. So it's going to take a lot of work.
So see on that, have you like, because if it was me beginning, I would like have like some way of writing each individual note on each.
It's not my instrument.
Okay,
I can't really do that to someone else's instrument. So,
okay, fair dues.
But if it was my own instrument, would I do that? No, I wouldn't.
No.
Just learn it.
Okay.
I think just learn it, because like you don't write snare drum, hi-hat on the kit.
Speak for yourself.
So, no, I think, okay, I've played a keyboard long enough to know where middle C is and all that stuff. So, yeah, I would rather just be up front with myself and just try and learn the instrument.
Yeah.
You
How long have you got till the show?
It shows in June or July.
Okay, so you got like
7 months.
six, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's achievable. There is a drum kit pad and there is a percussion pad, and I'll need to speak to the MD to see which one he wants me to play, because it's a school production. I ain't taking no timps in, man. Like, there's not space and where the band's set up and all that. It's like, it'll be drum kit with some tuned, probably.
Yeah.
But I just think, I think I want to learn how to do that, man.
Yeah.
Because there's been a few shows where I'm like, I could play this. Like, this xylo part is not that challenging.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't cheat.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
It feels a bit like I'm cheating at it when I think I'm capable enough of doing it. So that's a goal.
Do you know what? I actually think that's pretty courageous.
Thanks.
If that's the right word, because I would probably get to a point of maybe, let's say, 2 days before first rehearsal, and I would absolutely bottle it.
I get that. It feels like not pressure, because it's not. It's just a school show, and I'm not trying to diminish it, but it's not like I'm playing the Albert Hall. You know what I mean? And I'm playing some sort of concerto.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What people have paid 150 quid a ticket for, and it's for like a foundation charity or something. I'm just playing a wee school show and whatever. But baby steps.
Totally.
Learn to do it properly. So the next time I get called to do something that's a bit more Amdram and has tuned in it, I'll go, okay, cool, yeah, it's fine, I can do that. I kind of know with the instrument, and I might not be able to sight read it, but give me a week.
Are you giving yourself like a cut off of like, right, no, this is actually too much? Like an 8 weeks before?
No,
whatever?
like I'll give myself to like the week before the show starts, and if I haven't got it to a stage where I can do it, then I'll cheat.
Right.
And figure it out on samples or something,
Yeah.
But that I've done that. I've programmed stuff before, and it takes ages. And it's not necessarily any better.
Yeah.
It's just easier for me to hit a pad, you know, and you can't loop it. I still have to play notes. I still have to play pads.
Yeah, it's
so
just,
as well playing notes.
that makes sense.
You know, because none of it's clicked. It's all waved by a conductor. So it's not like I can just hit a pad and loop it at the tempo it's at, because it might be slightly. Oh, last night we were too fast, guys, so I'm just going to pull this one back a bit.
Yeah,
and stuff,
it'll fluctuate a lot.
Yeah,
so
and
it helps if you do everything on your end to make that as easy as possible.
Aye,
you know,
absolutely. You know, absolutely, and it's another skill, another string to the bow, and I feel like it's one of those things I should have done actually when I was at school. I should have got out of my own way a little bit, and whilst it was like at school it was just all drums. I think my second instrument for hire was snare drum, and you can do that. You can play drum kit and snare drum as your first and second instrument,
right?
Despite them both being percussion family.
Did not know that.
Yeah, so your second instrument.
I'll have words with my music teacher next time I see him,
because I was doing snare drum pieces and all that for my second instrument. So I feel like I should have actually done a bit more in the way of percussion. But that's hindsight.
Of course, hindsight is always 20/20.
Absolutely. So I've got my wee grade 1 book and all that. I bought my grade 1 at ABRSM book and like plinking and plonking, you know. So it's good, man. It's good.
You're the opposite from me. I would have like xylophone for dummies.
I mean, it's not far away from xylophone for dummies, you know. So yeah, it's good fun. It teaches you all sorts of different things about reading rhythms, and because you're having, for the first time, I'm having to deal with things like note length in a totally different way. Like on a snare drum, a 16th note and a whole note are the same. They sound the same.
Yep.
You know, so, but when you have actual note length and ties and dotted notes that have to have the right length of time, that's a whole different ballgame, you know. So.
Yeah. It's an exciting challenge though.
It is.
That's like fair enough.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been back, sort of shedding my hands again. Getting back into sort of practicing rudiments.
Yeah.
That's been fun, you know. Yeah. I've been watching a lot of Klaus Hessler. I think that guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's great. You've got his signature sticks, don't you?
I got a set, and they're great. They feel really, really well balanced, and they've got active grip, so that's always a winner for me. So I've been enjoying practicing with them. Just like, oh yeah, I remember like 7-stroke rolls, that's a thing. Yeah, 9-stroke rolls, that's a thing, you know. And like how, I don't know, like a flam accent and a paradiddle are like the same sticking. But just stretch out the flam, it becomes a paradiddle. Nerding out on that stuff and how these rhythms.
Next level nerdy.
Well, yeah, it is, but it's like it makes it a little easier in your head when you go, okay, so if you take a paradiddle and just squash the first two notes together, you get a flam accent. It's the same rudiment. It's just that's what I mean. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool, and realizing kind of what rudiments are and all that kind of stuff, you know, and not getting hung up on sticking patterns and all that, because all that stuff is like an articulation of how you want it to sound, you know. So it's been a nice little trip back down rudiment lane.
Yeah, I feel like I should stop by the rudiment shop and brush up.
For teaching. You know, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
I really do, and I don't think 9-year-olds are going to want to care about singles and doubles and paradiddles and all that nonsense. But if you can sneak it in the back door,
yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because my second lesson that I planned was to do like basically 16th note single stroke, but round the toms.
Yeah.
So like, here's a cool wee thing you can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like you can sneak flams in and be like, check this out, brat.
Yeah.
Like a standard rock fill thing, but it has a flam on it, you know. And then you can, well, this is what we call a flam, you know, and then figure out how to do it, through the back door, you know, like, you know, here's a cool weird groove and it's a paradiddle.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. I used to try and do that with people that didn't think they needed rudiments and that kind of thing. Like, just teach them cool stuff with it, you know.
Like fills and all that.
Aye,
and
but like it doesn't have to be bonkers difficult, you know, but it gets you from A to B. Here's why this even exists, you know, here's that kind of thing, you know. So it's been nice to kind of sort of go back to that. Been watching some Drumeo videos and been watching some Mike Johnston again, and
I feel like I need to get the pad back out again, like practice pad, because it occurred to me that I've not sat and actually practiced like just my hands for a long time.
Yeah.
Long
Did you see Benny Grebb's Vic Firth lesson last week when he was with the pad?
I think I saw like the thumbnail for it, but I didn't actually watch it.
It's so cool. He was talking about how to practice on a practice pad and said this like thing that I've been super guilty of, that people beat the hell out of practice pads.
Mm-hmm.
They don't practice on a practice pad like they would play on a snare drum.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like, damn it, the man's right. He's right. He's right. Damn it. So I've been approaching the pad slightly differently and not scalping it as hard. You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a vibe too.
That's a vibe.
Yeah, I feel like I've only got a reflex pad. Whilst it's great, I feel like I want another surface.
Well, speaking of drumming goals, right? One of my kind of drumming goals that I didn't realise that I wanted last year was to pick up traditional grip.
Right. Okay.
So, I didn't progress much further than buying a practice pad and buying a pair of Body Rich sticks.
Right.
Why I picked Body Rich sticks, I have no idea. Probably because he's like
the guy.
He's the guy. But I like for ages I managed to like I got it to a point where I was comfortable with it and like got this is related to practice pads, I promise. Got to the point where like even in like ballady songs at weddings and stuff, I was just kind of sneaking that in there, just like doing that whole thing of like trying to catch someone in the audience's eye and being like
I'm a real drummer.
watch this, whoa, flip it round, yeah, and they're like, whoa, that's amazing. So yeah, and it didn't feel like uncomfortable. Like I remember like trying to do it for years, and it just couldn't get to the point where it felt natural. But like at that point, it did. Even though it's like the most unnatural grip.
Well, here's the thing: it's only unnatural if your drum's not set up properly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and this is what I think people fail to realise, that grip came out of because the drum was hanging off your leg.
Yeah, exactly.
At a weird jaunty angle.
Yeah.
You know, so if you don't have jaunty angles on the rest of the drums, it is going to feel really weird and unnatural, you know. But when the kit is set up to accommodate it, it's actually really natural.
Yeah.
And it's great debate. I know guys like Dave Elitch are like, that's a really outdated way to play, and we don't play the drums that way, and we're not cutting about a field and all that. And he's got his own thing on that. But Tony Williams years ago used to talk about the hands do different jobs when you're playing the drums. So it's not really that mental to have them gripping differently. Yeah. Because they are doing different things. Like, interesting. Yeah. It's interesting to just talking about that, about grip, like actually holding mallets.
Yeah.
And playing and moving around an instrument that has mallets and how that's affected playing drum kit.
Like, I was going to ask you about this. So obviously you're using mallets, so they'll be weighted differently.
Yeah, but I'm not looking for rebound or anything.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean just like the kind of, so obviously you'll be going from tuned percussion to drumsticks. I know if I'm playing a gig and I use, like if I've been using a certain, say, like for talking's sake, just 5A, and then I switch to like, I don't know, a 7A. It's like, obviously there's a natural, like, this is way lighter than it was. You know, do you reckon that, and if I were to go back to 5A, all of a sudden they feel really heavy? It's like, I feel like that would throw me off playing. So do you feel like there's going to be a sense of that? Or have I just totally...
No, I absolutely get what you're saying. I think it would be okay because they're a different tool. It's not like, it's not, you're talking about a thing where they're both drumsticks. They're both the same tool, right?
Yeah.
So, and the context is the same.
Yeah.
But playing a xylophone is a different animal entirely from playing a snare drum.
Yeah.
So the tool is doing a different job. I'm doing a different job. The music is different. So I think I'll be able to hopefully switch it in my head, you know. Like I'm not, like tuned percussion, you don't move your elbow. Yeah. Unless you're reaching for a note up the board, you know, so it's all there.
Yeah.
It's all moving from this really small wrist position rather than coming way back here, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're reaching for a crash cymbal or reaching for your ride, there's going to be a natural...
or you're going to just annihilate a snare drum.
You know, there's a natural movement.
Yeah.
I think what it might do, hopefully anyway, is help me develop more of a touch.
Yeah.
You know, I would
think so.
My touch has kind of always been okay. You know, I can play the drums relatively lightly if I need to, but I think that'll help, especially with things like focus, you know, like making sure I hit the middle of the bar on the xylophone and that kind of thing, making sure I hit the middle of the snare drum, you know, if there's a kind of snare drum roll thing, especially if the show is a traditional show. I did Fiddle on the Roof in recent times, and that's really traditional, you know. splash, like all that kind of nonsense, and it really helps you sort of dial in your intention.
Yeah.
What you're trying to play. There's no room for messing around. Some of the tempos are really bright on some of those songs as well, so you can't get it wrong, because otherwise you're just like, it just sounds awful.
Yeah, totally.
So I think hopefully what it'll do is make me focus a little bit more on actually making sure I'm playing the drum set with the right intention.
Yeah.
I get really bad for focus, like la la la, la. Before you know it, you're playing nonsense. You're not actually playing the things you should be able to play, or the things you're trying to play. So so maybe that's a goal. It's just focus.
That's a good one.
I think so. I'm excited about it. It's kind of nice. It kind of kicked me in the butt a bit.
Yeah, I think everyone needs it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you don't realise you need it till you need it, or till you do it. Maybe like I didn't think I needed to kind of G myself up about playing till I chose to play a different instrument. Like, oh, okay, this is actually sort of sparked the fire again.
Yeah,
it's cool.
We didn't start the fire. Sorry, there was no need for that. Surprise, Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, just 80s Billy Joel.
Yep, only 80s Billy Joel. Only deep cuts.
Aye, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. Out there in internet land, tell us what your goals are.
Yeah, let us know.
I'm sure there were people commented on the post and things.
Yeah, there was a few people. I mean, it was that was like a bait, because I knew there would be people in there who'd just be like, I'm gonna practice more. I'm gonna play drums every single day, every hour of my life ever.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, that's gonna last about maybe a
3
day,
months,
if that. Yeah.
And
they'll also just play the same bullshit over and over again as well.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. I think
that came out of
the
depths of hell.
Because
you know what I'm getting at?
I do, because when I used to teach, I would have these conversations with people, and they would turn up and be like really G'd up. Like, sustaining it's the hard part when you've had a long, hard day and you just don't feel like it, But in some respects, like the martial arts world has this thing where those are the best days to train.
Yeah.
Because those are the days where you actually see really good progress, either positively or negatively. Whether you didn't do as well as you thought you were going to, or you did way better than you were expecting to.
Yep.
So it's just about turning up. I think that's half the battle. Just turn up.
Yep.
Touch the instrument today, whatever it is, play something. Fun times, man.
Fun times.
Good chat. I like this chat.
Aye, it was good. Aye. I mean, again, like, it's not that I didn't expect to enjoy it. Like,
no, but we went,
I know what you're saying.
Went places.
Went places.
Yeah, we'll go far. We're the boys, eh?
I can't believe you said that in a podcast. That's funny. Anyway, take us home.
Don't forget.
This again?
Well, I mean,
I've not done this in ages. You
I
need
know.
to direct me.
Do you know? I don't finish a podcast this way anymore because the voiceover does it all.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, but like, folks, we are still a shot.
Yeah.
So if you want to come and see cool drums, come to Queensley.
Yeah, come and buy some drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
we have a lot of pretty ones right now.
Yeah,
we
do. Or go onto the website that's drummersonly.co.uk.
That was nicely thrown in there. I mean, you could go onto, like, I don't know, the website, which is drummersonly.co.uk.
Yeah, or any of the socials. This is at drummersonly.uk.
Yeah, exactly. What are you still...
I know,
guys, he's still messing around with this sofa.
I've sat at the sofa and I've found treasure.
I don't know if I would call it treasure.
Well, yeah, maybe not. I mean, that's the end of a microphone stand.
Yeah, I was looking for that.
There you go.
Brilliant.
So yeah, at Drummers Only UK for the social game.
Yep.
Info at.
In case you guys haven't noticed, I'm mad into TikTok right now. Yeah. I love it, like obsessively love it. I don't know why. I'm not necessarily proud of it, but we move.
It is what it is.
We move.
Yeah, and 01414293799 if you want to talk to us on the Teflon.
Info at drummersonly.co.uk if you want to drop us an electronic mail. Just while we were talking about drum and goals, I realised I didn't tell people the practice pad that I have bought to practice my traditional grip. It was a Gretsch 12-inch practice pad. Yeah. It's super bouncy. I figured with that grip, I feel like I need to get something that makes it super easy to get rebound.
Yeah, totally. So, I get that. It's
a great little pad, actually.
Yeah.
I say little, it's fairly big. Size does not matter.
Excrement. Cool. So if there's no more we'll see you next time.
Yeah. If we don't see you through the week, we'll see you
Through
through the shop one day.
Cool. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Drummers Only podcast. Please leave us a review and make sure you subscribe. If you need any more information about us or any gear mentioned, head on over to drummersonly.co.uk and make sure you follow us on all of our social channels at drummersonlyuk. Thanks for listening. Peace.